Hey guys, I'm Zach the Creator, and welcome to the first episode of Results, powered by Pro Wrestling Surge. On today's episode of Results, we will look at the 10/16 episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into that, guys, there are some introductions to be done here. This is a new wrestling show for the internet. This is a new wrestling show for YouTube. I am Zach. I am the creator of Pro Wrestling Surge. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Instagram. You can find me personally at Zach the C on Twitter, Zach the Creator. You can find Pro Wrestling Surge on Facebook. You can find Pro Wrestling Surge on Instagram. And you can find Pro Wrestling Surge on Twitter. We cover everything from WWE to AEW to Impact Wrestling to Ring of Honor to New Japan. We cover pretty much everything out there. Actually, we cover everything out there. So if you want to go over to the Pro Wrestling Surge Facebook group, I will put a link in the description box down below to our fantastic group that I suggest you guys join. You just have to answer 3 questions and you can be a member. Also, feel free to follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter. We are there, and we will be there to talk to you about wrestling. With the introductions out of the way, guys, I am wearing an All Elite Wrestling t-shirt today, but that is because we are talking about All Elite Wrestling in this episode. Not every episode of Results will be about AEW, or they might not involve me. They might involve one of my other creators over at the Pro Wrestling Surge page. So we could be covering Raw, we could be covering SmackDown, we could be covering AEW, we could be covering TNA. Oh, did I just say in TNA? I meant Impact. We could be covering any of that. We could be covering NXT. It's not always going to be AEW. And let me tell you, it's not NXT because I don't have an NXT shirt yet, but we will get one. What a better first episode for us to cover is the night that Chris Jericho puts on the line the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in a street fight. I know what you guys are waiting for. You are waiting for the results, and I want to give them to you. So the opening match of AEW Dynamite tonight, the 16th of October, was supposed to be Kazarian and Daniels, members of SCU, versus Best Friends. But that is not what happened. At the very beginning of the show, Lucha Bros came out and attacked Christopher Daniels. They spiked him on the ramp, and he was out of this match. He was replaced by Scorpio Sky, and guys, let me tell you, this was one hell of a match. Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent, were very cerebral in this match. They paid attention to the fact that Kazarian had a back injury going into this match after the attack from Lucha Bros, and they focused on that. They were very cerebral there, and I loved how Scorpio Sky was all over this match. He lost his shoes. He wrestled in his socks. This was a fast-paced, hard-hitting match, and guys, if you liked tag team wrestling, this is your episode to watch. Just a side note. But I was very impressed with this match. I would probably give it a solid 3. I thought it was very, very good. Guys, this was a hard-hitting match. I was very into this contest. I really liked what Chuck Taylor and Trent brought to the match. I loved the storytelling in this match with Daniels being taken out and Scorpio Sky coming in. I loved the tandem finish here from Scorpio Sky and Kazarian to pick up their win. Next week, they will take on the Dark Order. Next up, we had an impressive in-ring debut of Santana and Ortiz. LAX, if you guys have watched Impact Pro Wrestling, they came out and they wrestled jobbers. Guys, this was a squash. I don't know if AEW plans to use the other 2 guys that were in this match, but this was a squash. This shows that Jericho really knows who he's going after with his team. Santana, first episode, jitters. Santana and Ortiz did a great job showing that they are a fantastic team, and Jericho makes good decisions. After that, we had a fantastic promo, in my opinion. This was a little package that they had put together about Cody and his thoughts going into his match at Full Gear with Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship. This was awesome, guys. If you watch anything from the show, aside from the main event, and one tag team match that I will talk about later that was awesome, this promo package was great. Plus, I'm going to give them extra points for DDP's Dusty Rhodes impression. That was awesome. Riho wins again. That's right. AEW Women's Championship match. Riho versus Brit Baker. This was actually a really good match, and I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't expect much out of this contest. I actually thought that Britt Baker was going to win the title tonight. I thought there was going to be at least one title change tonight. As you know, there is another championship match on this card, but I actually thought that Britt Baker was going to come out with the win tonight. And speaking of storytelling that I talked about in the tag team match earlier, this had amazing storytelling. They're really building up that Riho is this underdog, and Britt Baker was not backing down from this challenge. She was really into this match, and so was Riho, and I loved the finish. We had Britt Baker put Riho in the lockjaw, which I loved this submission. She went to put in the mandible claw, and as soon as she did, Riho reversed it, got into a pin, and beat her, retaining the championship. I can't wait to see what they do next, how this involves Bea Priestley, because we know that Britt Baker is in a feud with Bea Priestley right now, who is also very good. If you have not seen any of her matches, look them up. They're on YouTube. Next up, we had another tag team tournament match. We had the Lucha Bros, Pentagon, and Phoenix versus the Jurassic Express. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I was a little bit disappointed in this match. I was hoping that it was going to be, and under the impression that it was going to be, Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus versus the Lucha Bros. It actually ended up being Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt versus the Lucha Bros. And this ended up being a pretty just match for me. I know that, the Lucha Bros are amazing. They're a great tag team. I've seen them wrestle several times now with AEW, and they are fantastic. But this match just kind of sits in the middle of the road for me. There was some good work here. I think that Jungle Boy did a great job in this match, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. I'm hoping that Luchasaurus gets healthy, because it was revealed during the episode that he had a non-wrestling affected injury, and that's why he couldn't be in the match. But I was a little bit disappointed, but we did see Lucha Bros go forward into the tournament. They will take on Private Party next week. The tag team match that I was really into this week, guys, was an amazing match. We had Pac and Moxley, Jon Moxley and Pac versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. So what do you guys expect? This match was fucking fantastic. If you guys are fans of clotheslines, let me tell you what, this was the match for you, because Hangman Adam Page was handing them out buy one, get one free clotheslines. It was fantastic. We actually had a nice little segment where Kenny Omega got the barbed wire broom, and you had Moxley get the barbed wire baseball bat, and they were about to attack each other when Pac came in and started telling, hey, you can't do this, and threw away the weapons because he didn't want to get his team disqualified. Moxley didn't like that. He flipped him off, and he left, and we got a handicap match, which actually went to the B Trigger, and Kenny Omega and Adam Page getting the win after Adam Page hit Pac with the Deadeye. This was an awesome match, guys. The main event, guys, was Darby Allin versus Chris Jericho in an AEW World Championship match, and not just any AEW World Championship match, a AEW World Championship street fight, and this was awesome. Guys, I'm a huge fan of Darby Allin. I have been a huge fan of Darby Allin ever since I saw him in his first match on AEW Dark. You can find that on YouTube, on the AEW YouTube page. It was amazing. He wrestled Shima in his first match. It was Shima or Chima. I can't. Let me know in the comments down below. But this was a fantastic match. We actually got a point where Darby Allin actually had his arms behind his back, and Jericho was just beating the shit out of him. It was awesome. Jericho has found a way to just be awesome. He's found a way to reinvent himself so many times. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, and I thought he did a fantastic job in this match. It was a good street fight. It was a great way to end this show. Of course, we had Jericho picking up the win after he got some help from his inner circle. Jake Hager came out and knocked Darby Allin off the top rope, which caused Jericho to put Darby Allin into the Walls of Jericho, which I don't think they can call that the Walls of Jericho in AEW. I think they're going to go with the Lion Tamer, which is what he used to call it in WCW. But enough backstory there. We still have Chris Jericho as the world champion in AEW. As far as this show goes, I don't think it was quite as good as the first 2 episodes of AEW Dynamite, but I think this was a very solid show. On a scale of 1 to 5 of this episode, I will give it a solid 4. With that being said, this was the first episode of Results powered by Pro Wrestling Surge. Did you like this episode? Do you like this format? If you want to see me or any of my other creators over at the Pro Wrestling Surge Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram talk about wrestling with you guys, talk about results with you guys, let me know down in the comments down below. Do you want us to cover Impact? Do you want us to cover MLW? Do you want us to cover Ring of Honor, WWE? Whatever you guys want us to cover, New Japan Pro Wrestling, let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button. That helps out our channel and helps us in many ways. Just, guys, it helps us out a lot. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay powered by Pro Wrestling Surge.